I would, but beyond Kirsten Gillibrand, the reason I'm running again and the reason I think I can win almost has nothing to do with her. It's the moment in time. I did not get into this race to make another statement. I got into this race to win because I think people have had it. I think people have had it in New York State with the dysfunction of the state government. I think people are angry and very concerned about their future because of the economic collapse that we just had, of the financial system in the past fall. But as I point out, this has been something that's been growing for 30 years. I believe we can make this country a much better country. But, as you well put it, we have to have, if you will, regular people. Different people who are not career politicians, whose sole goal and sole record and track record is about working for the people. And that's who I am, and I hope I get your support in this campaign. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
And then I'd be happy to take any questions, if you have any questions or thoughts, observations, things you want to know more about. By the way, I should have introduced Jen, which was I neglected to do that. Jen is actually a great example of a great activist who came to me, luckily, her title is our events coordinator. But Jen, if I may say, it came to me through the Obama campaign, and she organized hundreds of ride shares for Obama from Brooklyn to Pennsylvania to help people knock on doors. And so first of all, she's an incredible organizer, but I'm lucky to, it was true in 2006, but it's true now. What I love is attracting people to the campaign who are doing it for the right reasons. And she gets paid, I want to be clear, and I'm happy to do that, but it's people who make choices. They could work for other people and work for other campaigns, but they believe in what we're trying to do. So I just wanted to, you get a chance to talk to Jen now or, over the next year and a half. But yes, any questions? You were raising your hand, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
What is your funding level vis-a-vis Gillibrand right now?
Well, we just started in the first funding quarter. We were only in the campaign for 2 weeks, so I think we've raised $40,000 or something like that. We just started it. There is no question that she's going to raise more money than me. It's not even going to be. She's probably going to raise $35 to $40 million, and that's primarily going to come from the very interests that have been working against our interest. Wall Street, the financial interest, the banks. She can go into a corporate office and in an hour walk out with $150,000 to $200,000 easily. We are not going to match her money. Some lightning could strike, and we could, but I'm being very honest with you, we're not going to raise that amount of money. We're trying to raise enough to be competitive, to get our message out, because I'm a great admirer of some of the linguists and people who have studied the way people think about politics. George Lakoff and Drew West, they're two people in particular. And one of the things they point out is that it's much harder to undo a negative image that someone has of you in politics than get people to know you. And that's my challenge. She's going to have to spend $35 to $40 million on doing the following image, which is that when we go into the street and do video, if you ask who Kirsten Gillibrand is, most people, this fog comes over and they have no idea. Or they say, oh yeah, she's the gun lady. That is not a good place to be in the Democratic primary. I have a different problem. People don't have a negative image of me. They don't know who I am mostly. Although I got more votes than anybody running in this race for the Senate seat. I got 125,000 votes in 2006. She has not gotten a single vote for that Senate seat. I don't want to say that translates immediately to this race, but there's a chunk of people who know me. This happens all the time. People, oh yeah, I voted for you. People recognize that. So we have a base to build on. So we don't need $35 million to undo an image. We need enough money to build an image. And then as a grassroots movement person, I think some of what we get isn't about cash, but having 10,000 Elaines or 10,000 people like you out there talking about us, and having events like this and building this all across the city and all across the state.
So I have two more questions. What is your strategy for making up? I mean, you just said a little part of it, but what are other strategies for making up for this money imbalance? And the second question is, what did you learn from losing to Hillary? What did you learn that you can put into effect? And I'll tell you why I ask. Before Schumer won, I heard, and I don't even remember what year he first won, but I heard an interview that he was giving. And he had run for Senate, I don't know, 2 or 3 times before, I guess. I don't even remember. I don't even know if I was voting. And he talked about and you should maybe go back and study what he said. He talked about everything he had learned from losing. And he had all these strategies for how he was going to win now. And who did he run against? That uber Republican that everybody loved?
Well, he ran against D'Amato. He beat D'Amato.
D'Amato, yes. And he had won a couple of, he had lost a couple of times before, but he had learned every time he lost. So I want to know, first of all, what are your strategies for making up for not having this cash level? And second, what did you learn from losing with Hillary?
Those are 2 really, really good questions. No, a lot of people ask, those are excellent questions.
Because I know where you stand on the issues, and
sure.
I agree probably with most of them, so I want to know why I should, support you. How are you going to win?
Absolutely. So I would say the first thing is the strategy to win. Let's start with that one. First of all, build on what I already built, which is that there are networks all across the state who already supported me and are ready to support again. The second ring is, in fact, a lot of the great people came to the Obama campaign, and I've both because I knew some people, but I've explicitly gone out and worked with them and connected with them because I think that there's a belief and an energy there about a vision of politics that wasn't. Some people were about Obama the man. I think most of the people were about changing the country, and they saw him as the vehicle. And it hardened to see a lot of people, because I was a little hesitant. I said, I don't agree with him. Well, I said, we don't agree with him a lot. We want to make him better. And I say often, I'm running to support the president and push him in an even more progressive direction. So there's the Obama circle. The third circle is the labor movement. In 2006, not a single union would support me, not because they didn't think I was head and shoulders above Hillary Clinton of all the issues they cared about. It was because they were afraid, and because they all marched in lockstep. And it was, their view was I was running against the next president of the United States. Now we all know how that worked out. But at the time, it was a reasonable argument to be made. It's a different environment now, and I don't want to be, I've had a lot of conversations with unions in the city, and they are very, very open to the notion of supporting me. And with labor support comes, this is sort of the fourth circle, comes troops. Maybe I should use that. Bodies, activists, people who will work for me in communities. And I really, because I've grown up for my entire adult life building movement politics, I really do believe in the block by block, precinct by precinct building of campaigns. And again, I think the Obama campaign was brilliant at doing that. So we want to build on all those circles what existed before, the people who have gotten involved in politics, the labor movement. I think we can build a great movement of people who will then build committees of people in all the boroughs. And again, I do think, from a practical point of view, even though I'm going to Ithaca in a week and a half, Ithaca was one of the cities, by the way, that I won shockingly in 2006. I say shockingly because you would think that I would win Ithaca. We have a fundraiser up there. So I will travel around the state, but most of the work from just a vote getting happens in the downstate area.